Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are now tuned in to MMA Jam Live. We don't play them games. You don't really wanna say our names. Cause I'm up in the morning at the break of dawn, with the fire in my eyes and my nuts in my palm. We don't lay down and die for no one. This is what we do, spitting fire for so long. We've been killing shit, damn right, we chosen. We control the fear, don't die for no one.
Hey, fight fans, welcome to WMMA Jam Live. I'm your host, Vanessa, along with Sabrina. Sabrina, say hello.
Hello.
And welcome back. It is Wednesday. We're almost through this week. For today's show, we will be joined by WSOF strawweight champ Jessica Aguilar, Officer Emily Rady, I'm going to say Rady because that's Rady, and WMMA News from Wombat Sports, Marq Piocos, he's better known as Mark with a QP on Twitter. So I'm really excited to talk to everybody. Before we get started, Sabrina, how you doing? How's your Wednesday? How's your Wednesday going so far?
Awesome. Even better now that you said that. But it's going good. How's yours going?
I'm doing pretty good, you know. It's Wednesday, WMMA Jam. It's always fun talking to you about all the goodness going on. Did you have fun this weekend watching fights? I know we caught up on some old fights this weekend on Fight Pass.
Yeah, I did. It was fun watching some old fights. Watched Gina Carano and Cyborg. Watched Gina Carano and Joey Kedzie, which was a good fight. What else did we watch? Cyborg fights. Watched the Sarah Kaufman fight. It was fun. I like all those old fights still.
Yeah, it was really fun watching them too, and getting to go through and watch whichever ones you really wanted to see. You know, just skip over to all the good ones. Gina Carano and Cyborg fight. I'm not going to lie, watching it again, it's not as bad as I remember it the first time. I think I was just kind of heartbroken that it went down that way and it looked worse. Because it didn't seem that bad second time around. I don't know if it did to you.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as emotionally invested this time around because obviously it was a long time ago. It happened. You know, I'm a little mad at Gina Carano anyways for not coming back yet. And, yeah, but she definitely, you just look at, where she messed up or where she could have had an even better chance. You know, she should have stayed on mount, stuff like that. But Cyborg's a beast. You know, we watch some Cyborg fights, and Cyborg's no joke.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Cyborg fight again.
It still made me sad, though. I know the outcome of that fight, but it still made me sad. But then it reminded me that I need to get a charger so we can watch those fights that we made people do after that fight.
Yeah. It was cool, just seeing back, even Shayna Baszler, and they look so little, you know, compared to now. I don't know, everybody looks so young and little.
Yeah, I really like the Gina Carano and Kedzie fight a lot too. There's a couple punches that Gina throws that are awesome. So I like watching that fight a lot too.
Yeah, that was a pretty good fight too. It was kind of cool watching, to Ronda Rousey and Julie Kedzie in there. But yes,
Cheyenne
that was
kept
fun.
Shannon kept asking for Ronda Rousey fights. Like, dude, they're not that
goodness.
long.
That girl is the biggest Ronda Rousey fan to where I was like, okay, Shannon, we get it. You love her. Like, we just watched like 3 of her fights. Relax. She had her movie theater that was only showing Ronda Rousey fights. I was like, okay, relax. But, yeah, that was funny. Thank you, Fight Pass, for all those amazing fights. That's true. I'm sure, but still, she knows who she is when she comes back.
Whatever. I like to think still her favorite fighter.
You? Well, she always chooses you to win, so that's nice. Oh, look. That's chat room going, if you're listening, people. Speaking of Ronda, she did win the SB. Who?
Yeah. Huh?
Are you talking to me?
Well, I was going to say we should ask people in the chat room or people like on Twitter what their favorite women's MMA fight is.
Ooh, exactly. What was your favorite, most memorable fight out there for those in the chat room? Nice. But Ronda, she won the SB Best Female Athlete. So that's pretty cool. She was the first MMA athlete, right, to win an SB?
I'm not 100% sure.
Pretty
She's
sure.
First female one though.
Either way, whoop whoop.
We had.
I mean, well deserved though. She really is. Like, you know, she's obviously the champ. She works her butt off. She's always in the gym. Like, she really is one of the top athletes. Like, she's nonstop. So I wonder how her little break even is really going. I know she has to fill up her hand, but still, I wonder how much she actually stays out of the gym. Thank you. But that's awesome. Congratulations to her for winning that. I mean, were you surprised at all that she took that win?
No, I mean, I don't even know who she was going up against. So, I mean, that just shows I don't even know who's out there. I think maybe Courtney Forrest, but that's it. Yeah, thank you. She has, like, drag racing, who's awesome. It's just a woman thing, which I do. But, no, that's cool. Hey, the more that she wins, the better. The bigger, like, the more she gets out there, the more people that know her, the more people that buy her stuff, the more money she makes.
Yeah, she really puts herself out there. So, of course, you know, that's the first name you think of, you know, even for people who don't really know that much about it, when they went on there and voted. And I'm sure all her fans, come on, man. Of course she was going to get those votes. I don't know if anyone else.
If someone came up to you and was like, who's the biggest female, like, who's the biggest woman in any sport right now that you know, you're going to say Ronda Rousey, I think. I don't think there's someone in the WNBA. I don't think there's a golfer, softball players, nothing. Like, it's Ronda Rousey. She's the biggest name right now. And that's cool because a lot of people are still sketchy about women's MMA, and a lot of people used to hate MMA. It wasn't not that long ago where people hated MMA. And now she's one of the biggest stars. Everybody knows who she is, and she's an MMA person. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Undefeated, taking the wins, of course. One thing that, you know, of course, we keep hearing Dana White wants to sign Gina Carano, so that it's going to be done. But he also said probably she'll fight, if she does fight Ronda Rousey in December. That for UFC 181.
It should probably be that Chris Weidman Vitor fight, right? Since Vitor just got licensed about the fight.
Good question.
I think that's it. He just got licensed today, surprisingly, but yeah, he's gonna right when they license him, UFC announced that. Him and Weidman, I think December 6th, and then I think Pettis and Melendez are fighting that day, which is awesome. So why not stack Ronda Rousey?
Hey, that's a pretty good card.
Mhm. Yeah, if it holds up.
Yeah. Exactly. Hopefully.
I mean, it's gonna make money, but I'm still so like about Gina getting a shot right away. And I think I read something where Holly Holm was saying she was cool with it. Why not? But like, I wouldn't be cool with it. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that everyone's cool with it because of like who Gina is. But you know, like if I was working my ass off that hard every day, you know, I would want a title shot before, you know, especially if I was one of them.
Yeah, I agree with that because, you know, I'm a Gina Carano fan. I want to see her back, but this still doesn't mean that I think that she should get a shot right away. I mean, she's been gone for years, and even if she has been, like, you know, in the gym all this time, you got Kat Zingano. She wasn't even out that long compared to Gina Carano, and they were like, no, you know what? I think you need to take another shot before you get the title. You know, even though you're the number one contender, you got to, like, wait. But then you're going to go and sign up Gina and already have a fight set for her against the champ. Like, if, you know, it's just unfair. And, hey, that's cool that Holly Holm, she agrees with it. She stands behind it. You know, just everybody's going to be kind of split on it. Like I said, I like her too, so I want to be excited. But it really is just for the money. It's not like, you know, not like she earned that spot back then, but today, no.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I would be like, no, like, either I'm going to fight before you for the title or I want to fight you first, see if you can even get through me. Maybe that's just how I think, but I just think it's crazy. I mean, I loved watching old Gina Carano fights, and I love her moments of, like, her technique where it's beautiful and you see it, you know, you see all that potential. But when you really think about it, Gina never peaked yet, but she's still, like, if she would have just stayed with it, she would have been really awesome. And now it's like, you don't know. Because there's nothing in her game that we saw in any of her fights that I've ever seen where I think she's going to test Ronda at all. And who wants to see, okay, we saw Gina leave, getting her ass beat. Who wants to see her come back, getting her ass beat? You want to see her where she's going to contend, you know, where she's really going to be at her best, where she has finally peaked. Because, I mean, Ronda probably hasn't peaked yet, but, you know, she's pretty still up there. And, dang, I just wish that, like, if I was Gina, I would want to do it because I want to be the best, you know, and I think that I would need more fights to see if I'm the best first instead of just, like, sending me in with the line.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely agree with you on that. I just don't think it's the, you know, the right way to do things, especially because, okay, not to say that she's going to beat Ronda Rousey, but say it happens. Like, does Gina leave it at that? When I call her Gina, I totally think of something else, like we're homies or something on a first-name basis, but Carano.
She doesn't know it, but we are.
Yeah. We like to think that we're really close with everybody. But Carano, okay, stay somehow, because you know what? In the sport of MMA, it happens. You never fucking know. Oh, sorry. My bad. You never know. But say she beats her. You know, does it end there? Is that what's going to keep her if she loses? Like, does she leave? Like, you know, it's obviously for the money. I don't know that she's going to stay. I don't think she's going to continue after she gets that fight. You know, so I don't know.
I kind of think she's doing it for the exposure more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Say John said Carano could probably get a fight with Amanda Nunes.
You know, like I said, anyone, Sarah Kaufman, like he said, Amanda Nunes. I mean, who wouldn't want to see her fight, you know, Miesha Tate?
Yeah, at least, you know, Miesha Tate's up there. She has a lot of fights. She has more fights than Gina, so, you know, like, why not? If Gina Carano's supposed to be, like, you know, one of the greats, and that's why they think she deserves to come back, okay, give her one fight, at least. You know, if you're going to throw her in there, at least make her take one fight. Like, give her somebody like that.
Yeah, and it's not like.
And Tate's always down
girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
Down the
Well,
top.
I think anybody wants to fight Gina, and everybody wants to fight Gina. Not only it's because of her, like, she's a big name now, but because of who she is and what she did for the sport. And I think that's why Ronda wants to fight her. But that Ronda knows that this could be one of her easier fights. I think.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. Like, I feel like it's, they're bringing her in to beat her up or something, like.
Yeah.
Just to kind of push it out there, how unbeatable Ronda Rousey is. I saw an article saying something about Ronda maybe being too good for her own good, and like kind of being the rise and maybe the fall of women's mixed martial arts because she's like unbeatable at this point,
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of good fighters out there who go a long time not being beat, but it's not to say that they're unbeatable, especially in this sport. And I think that there's just girls who haven't really had their chance. Like, they haven't been seen. We don't really know them, type of deal. Because a lot of these women have, like, a lot of fights, a lot of experience. So, but we don't know them yet. You don't hear a lot about it as you do, obviously, the women in UFC or Invicta. They're getting a lot more exposure. What do you think about that whole being too good for her own good?
I think the cool thing is that, like, the whole little partnership with the UFC and Invicta is that, the UFC really is going and trying to go into a lot of new places. I think Mexico's going to be really cool. But can you imagine, like, an Ultimate Fighter women Mexican, like, ladies, Like, I think that'd be awesome, too. So I think with all of this, like, exposure to the UFC's getting, the women, they're going to be seen, too. And I think that's when those ladies that we don't know about might get their chance. And I don't think that Ronda Rousey is unbeatable. I think that there's still a lot of holes in her game, and it's just going to take the right person to find that hole and to maybe even control their emotions. Because it seems like maybe that side of it is maybe it's what's getting these girls, and they're not performing well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe Ronda's just that good. But I don't think that means she's unbeatable. I think that, come on. Let Cyborg make 135. I know everyone says it all the time, but that really is someone who could beat up Ronda Rousey. And people want to say steroids, whatever. Maybe not. People still want to see Chris Weidman fight Vitor Belfort, freaking Mr. TRG. So why don't you want to see fucking Cyborg and Rousey just for women? But
yeah, exactly.
There is somebody can beat her. It's just they have to get themselves in that right situation.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see more people get a shot at.
Uh-huh.
What are you going to say?
More people get a shot.
Oh no, go ahead.
I also don't think that when Ronda leaves or loses, that it's going to be the women's MMA. There's still a lot of really great girls and really great girls that I like to watch. Ronda Rousey's not the only person that I'll watch. I love Sarah Kaufman. I'll watch a Cyborg fight. There's a lot of ladies that are really good. And so I think that even if Ronda leaves, this division is going to strive and open up bigger divisions, smaller divisions. I think it's just going to be as big no matter what. I think she helped, obviously, like Gina helped. But I think that Cyborg helped a lot, too, and no one gives her credit for it. But I don't know, it's crazy to think that she's the rise because people are watching her, but I don't think that she's going to be the fall. But
yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that it's all based around one person and, them leaving would completely bring it all down or them being too good. No, that's not, like there's some amazing men fighters and some that have left the UFC and it didn't, end at all. So there's a lot of amazing fighters out there who people, they just don't know yet, especially people who are just coming into the sport. They know what they've seen. They know what's been advertised. So they don't know all these other amazing fighters that are out there. I mean, you know, even somebody like Jessica Aguilar, who we're going to have on later, she isn't in the UFC. She isn't in Invicta. But, man, that girl, she's 18-4. She's the World Series fighting strawweight champion. She's a good fighter. Like, her fight at WSOF 10, man, amazing fight. So there's a lot of amazing fighters out there that have yet to be seen, and whether it's somebody who is going to be like well-known like Ronda in the bantamweight division, or it's going to be a strawweight division, there's a lot of women who are going to show you some good stuff. So, and
just like look at Silva and Weidman, you know. Barao just got beat. Gustafsson almost beat Jones and is fighting him again. There's a lot of GSP. People think Johnny Hendricks beat GSP, and I think that they just need to be figured out. Ronda's gonna be a little harder because she doesn't show that much. Her fights end quick, but there is somebody out there figuring Ronda Rousey out right now. They're studying, and they're not that far off. You know what I mean? There's someone that. No, but like, you know, even me, when I watch Ronda Rousey fight, and I'm no expert or nothing, but man, I'm like, oh, I would do this here. You know, she does this all the time. And this is like, you know, if you just do this, maybe, you know. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's someone out there doing the same thing, and someone's gonna figure it out. And it's just gonna be like, you know, when Weidman figured out Silva. When Dillashaw figured out Barao, you know, and people are kind of figuring out John Jones a little bit, but, man, John Jones is crazy. I don't know about that one, but Gustafsson's a good, you know, fight against him. But I'm just saying, like, everybody eventually gets figured out, and she's on a roll right now. But somebody is going to figure her out. But then it's going to be like, oh, well, she's been doing so much, and blah, 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 but I don't know. It's because someone is out there putting in the work.
Sorry, I'm trying
to... Weidman said one time, he said that the only person he's ever prepared for was Anderson Silva. And there's a girl out there that thinks the same way, you know. There's the only person that they're preparing for ever is Ronda Rousey. Everyone else is just, you know.
Yeah.
So, there's women out there taking this just as serious, and they're going to go and they're going to work their ass off, and they're going to figure it out.
Yes, it's only a matter of time. You know, everybody at some point comes to an end, or even not, whether it's her leaving or her getting beat, you know, like, eventually it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's going to keep rotating out. It's going to continue. And what else have we seen? Let's see. Well, speaking of all those other women, Nunes versus Zingano. Mm-hmm. So two more pretty good fighters that, Amanda Nunes wants to knock out Zingano to prove she's ready for Rousey. What do you think about Nunes on Rousey? What do you think about Nunes versus Zingano?
I think it's a good fight. I think that Zingano's probably going to want to try and grapple more. But Nunes is 9-3. She does have 8 knockouts, though. Most of them TKOs. So she has power in her hands. She does hurt people. So, you know, I've seen her fight against, Zingano fight Miesha Tate, obviously, and it was a good fight, but I think that Nunes has heavier hands than Miesha Tate, and if she's going to connect more than Miesha Tate, then Zingano might have a problem, unless he uses her wrestling and stuff. But I think it's a good fight. Hopefully Nunes has takedown defense.
Yeah, looks like a pretty good matchup. I hope it's going to be a really good fight. I'm sure, especially Nunes feels like she has something to prove. You got Kat Zingano coming back after being out for a little bit, you know, going through all the stuff she was going through. So I think both these ladies both want to get in there and, you know, really prove themselves and work to get that spot up against Ronda Rousey. So I think it's going to be a really good fight.
And if Nunes knocks out Zingano, she might, you know, have a reason to be like, hey, give me Ronda after they give her Gina, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And, hey, you never know. That's what I'm saying. In the world of mixed martial arts, it's anyone's game. All it takes is one hit. And even with Ronda Rousey taking out Alexis Davis in 16 seconds or whatever, Alexis Davis was able to throw in, 2-3 punches maybe? I don't know. So Amanda Nunes, she comes in here with 8 knockouts. What if it just takes one hit, you know, she gets in there one time together. It can go any which way. You never know. So
yeah. I think we need some more aggressive women. Not that non-aggressive fighting's not good, because I like it all, but aggressive women. And Nunes is aggressive, so, you know, I think that's especially what is going to help at least give you a chance against Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see somebody go in there and really want it, you know.
Or go in there and not care. Like, everyone expects you to lose anyways. Go in there and just fight, you know, have so much fun that it's not even, I mean, you got to be serious, obviously, but.
Yeah, you do it for a reason. You love this sport, so you get in there and just fight because you love to fight, you know,
Yeah. You can't, care that she's Ronda Rousey. Nobody's supposed to beat her, you know. You can't care about that armbar.
Yeah.
You got to go.
And all eyes are on whether or not you're the one who's going to get this done. I don't know, man. We got a few minutes before we're joined by Jessica Aguilar. So, I don't know, I don't think you listened in where, you know, there was a fight broke out up in Tough 20 already or whatever. It was day 1 of filming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. And I guess, Felice Harris was one of the girls, and she came out, you know, just saying, you know, I am who I am, people may not like me or think of me a certain way type of thing. And another thing she had said, you know, basically it all comes down to jealousy of her. I don't know if you know Felice very well as far as, you know, she's on Fight Girls. Oh, yeah. But I'm saying, you know, now you see her a lot on, Instagram and stuff, posting pictures, and I think that's, a big thing that maybe some of the girls aren't, responding well to. Huh?
Why do you think that's a big, why do you think that other women are not okay with her showing off her body? Because, I mean, she worked hard for her body, you know? So if she's proud of her body and she wants to take pictures and she doesn't care who sees it, why does it bother other people?
Yeah, I think
she's still cool, you know? And
you
girls,
know, I think it's just
you know,
how the whole. Yeah, that's what I was saying too. It kind of sucks, because for girls just like to take pictures like that, you know. But because of who she is, it's there's that 24/7 spot. No matter what you do, but you're a mixed martial artist, you're supposed to act this way, or, you know, so to say. That's what I, you know, was kind of thinking too. It kind of sucks. And that's what she said too, you know, just let me be my own person. I am who I am. And she's one of those, goofy girls, you know. She'll be on, she'll have her, her awesome long socks on we would, but she might be a little sexy in her bed, you know, with one of her sponsors on her socks or her something, you know, and maybe because that whole big issue of women using their bodies to get ahead, maybe that's why she thinks that they're, you know, I don't know.
Does anybody give Ronda shit for using her body? I mean, I've seen a lot of Ronda Rousey's body that, you know, so it's like, if you're comfortable, it shouldn't matter, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, some things like why because it's on Instagram and it's not fancy. So because Ronda does it like on ESPN and GQ and stuff.
Right, because she has the fancy equipment. It's okay. No, I get what you're saying. That's why, you know, you feel bad because they are people. You know, like when does it come to that time of the day, you know, when it's like, okay, I'm just Felice and I like to take selfies and I like to dress or sing and be funny and goofy. Like, you know, why isn't it allowed? Why is she constantly under, you know, like it sucks. I mean, I guess it comes with the career choice, but still, you know, just like being an actor or an actress, like you deal with people following you around all the time. It's kind of like that, like something you sign into, but I mean, it still has to suck, and it's still, I'm sure there is a lot of issues for, you know, other girls, like seeing it like that, and maybe that's not their way of doing things, or that's not their way of thinking, but you know, everybody's different. But, you know, the only thing I didn't really like is her saying, like, they're jealous of her. Because then it takes it to, like, okay, like, I'm cute, or, oh, I have all this stuff. Or, no, it's, you know, that's when you start making it look differently. So, But I think it's crazy. Day one of shooting, and they already have drama.
Like the Bad Girls Club, but chicks actually know how to fight.
Yeah. That's the problem. All these girls are, like, itching to fight already, and it's a whole bunch of girls in one room.
Yeah, because everybody can be nice as shit, but it's still a whole bunch of women who don't really know or, like, live with each other usually, obviously. So it's still going to be weird and crazy.
Actually, I am going to be giving Jessica Aguilar a call right now. Sister, I will be back. You enjoy your little break. Hopefully this goes well for me.
Yeah, don't give out our number.
Calling. I'm going to try not to. Although I'm pretty sure Blog Talk Radio is messing with me. All right. I'll see you in a bit, sister. Okay.
Hello?
Hello, Jessica?
Yes, this is she.
Hi, this is Vanessa with WMMA Jam Live. How are you doing?
Hi, fine. Hi, Vanessa. How are you? I'm doing good, thank you.
Are you good to talk right now?
Yeah, I'm all set. Yes, I'm ready. Yeah.
Awesome.
How are you? How's everything? Are you in New York or?
No, I'm in California.
Oh, okay, because your number comes up as a New York number, so.
Oh, it's probably the station number or something.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
I'm in California, and you're over in Texas, right?
No, I'm in Florida. I'm in Coconut Creek, Florida.
You're in Florida. Oh, how's the weather over there?
Oh man, it's beautiful. I mean, it's raining right now, but it's nice. It's you know, that's the summers in Florida, but it's nice.
That's crazy.
Hot. Yeah.
Oh, I love rain, but not so much hot. So it's too hot over here for me.
In California, really? What part of California are you at?
I'm in Southern California in Orange County. It's not that hot, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Florida weather. I'm just a sissy.
I think I like California weather more. Yeah, because it's a little cooler out there, no? Yeah, here it's about, I don't know. There's no humidity. Here it's very humid, so, but it's nice. You know, we get used to it. It's a little bit of everything.
I'm all saying you're in Texas, and I have it right here.
Well, that's okay.
Sorry. Thank you so much for joining me today, by the way. I saw your fight at WSOF 10. I was talking to my sister. She's the co-host on the show, and that fight was so amazing. I had always wanted to talk to you, but, just never felt worthy.
No, of course not. Stop that.
So
no,
good,
thank
so
you.
I'm excited.
No,
well,
thank you so much. I appreciate the support.
Well, we'll go ahead and get into this. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So like you said, you're in Florida. You moved to Florida in 2005 to pursue your career as an actress, and you ended up taking your first professional MMA fight in 2006. How did that
correct,
happen?
Yeah.
And, I know you were growing up, but did you have any experience or training or AMI fights before that?
No, I had no combat experience. I was an athlete for most of my life. I grew up with two brothers, so I wanted to do everything they did, and everything they did was sports. So I wanted to, I knew I was an athlete all my life. When I moved to South Florida, I joined it was a boxing gym, but the only reason I joined was, it was a gym close to my place, and they had a few classes that I could take after work and, stay fit and still, just work out. I never joined to do to train boxing or any other martial art, but I ended up falling into one of the classes, and that's how, I got into the sport. I took a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class by mistake, and the instructor told me there was a tournament coming in a month and I should compete. And so after training for a whole month, I competed in a Naga tournament, and I won against I won the no-gi and the gi. So I was, really happy. I've always been an athlete. I'm very competitive, and it was just nice to compete again, to be able to compete again. So I continued training, and I went to my second tournament. I was an American top team. American top team had put the tournament together. But I had no clue what American Top Team was. I was just learning what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was. I had no clue what MMA was at the time. And so I went to the tournament. There was no girls or guys for me to compete against. And so I just stayed, to be a spectator. And they ended up calling me. And, American Top Team also at that time, and they still do today. They just brought the show back. It was called the AFC. It's the show is the AFC, and it was one of the biggest martial art events here in South Florida. And it was owned by American Top Team, or it's owned by American Top Team, excuse me. Anyways, they had the tournament was on a Saturday. They had AFC 15 the next Saturday, and there was Lisa Ward and Erica Montoya. Yeah, Erica Montoya, I think it was. Scheduled to fight on the card, and they couldn't find Erica Montoya, so they called me and they said, how much MMA experience do you have? And I said, I have no MMA experience. This is my second month of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I said, he's like, I said, I just have 2 months. I grew up with two brothers. He said, so do you want to fight? And I said, well, yeah, I said, he said, he had kind of explained to me a little bit, but I still didn't understand. I said, oh, yeah. I said, when do I have to pay you? And he laughed at me and he said, no, I pay you. And I had just moved here, so I was like, kind of skeptical. And I'm like, wait a minute, what am I exactly doing? So he explained the whole deal to me. You're fighting another girl at 115 pounds. It's going to be, back then it was 2 rounds. I'll give you this to fight, whatever, and I said, I thought to myself, I'm like, nobody knows me here, whatever. Like, it's going to be fun. I thought to myself, like, what can another 115-pound girl do to me? So I'm like, yeah. I said, I'll fight. So I had 5 days to train for the fight. I had no clue I had no clue who Lisa Ward was. So whatever, I went in and, I lost my first fight. I lost that fight. But it became fight of the night, and it was just there was other promoters there that night that called me and invited me to fight on their promotion, and here we are today. I'm talking to you guys, not telling you my story, so it's pretty cool.
I think that's crazy that you went into your first fight in like 5 days with nothing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, 5 days. Yeah,
I mean,
5 days. You know,
Go ahead.
No.
Oh no, I was just saying, especially because you went out there to be an actress to begin with, and then all of a sudden there you are in the cage, fighting an MMA fight.
Right? Yeah. It's pretty crazy. You know, I tell people, they say, "How did you start?" I really just fell into it. You know, I fell into the sport, and it just happened. And you know, just like everything in life, I want to be the best at. And when I decided that I was going to take my career this seriously, I said, you know, I'll give myself 5 years to be the best in the world, and that's my goal. That was my goal. And you know, at the 5-year mark, a little under the 5-year mark, I became, you know, I beat Megumi and became ranked #1 strawweight in the world. So I did it, you know, and it's been a pretty nice, pretty cool journey.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. You had set that goal for yourself, and now, you know, not only are you the #1 women's strawweight in the world, but you're also the #4 women pound for pound fighter. Like, how does it feel to, you know, to have gone from knowing nothing on your first fight to becoming, you know, #1 and #4 pound for pound?
I mean, it's great, you know. It's a great feeling. I'm honored to be here, and for, you know, for everything that's happened. That's, you know, how do I say, it's the dedication, you know, it's the hard work that I put in, and it really pays off. So, you know, it sounds cliche when everybody says, oh, the hard work, you know, it will pay off. Well, it is. It's true. So, you know, I put a lot of hard work into it, and I believed in myself, and I stayed focused, and you know, now we're seeing the results. So it's pretty neat. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, well, like I said, I saw that your fight, World Series Fighting 10 against Emi Fujino, and it was such an amazing fight. I was so. I remember I just walked in, and it was the only fight I got to see, I think, and I was just stuck on the TV because it was such an amazing fight. And I saw somewhere where you had expected the fight to maybe go a little easier than it went, and you had wanted to submit her, you know, because she had never been submitted before.
Right.
You know, how did it feel? You know, she ended up proving to be quite the opponent. She held out, you know, through 5-minute rounds. How did it feel? You know, what were you thinking at the end of that fight? Having your hand raised.
Yeah, no, it felt great. You know, having my hand raised felt great. I was a little, that was in my plan. I mean, obviously the ultimate goal is winning the fight, right? And, you know, like I said, I knew she was going to come in tough. I knew, you know, I knew she was going to be tough, and I knew that I had to be prepared whether it went 1 round or whether it went 5 rounds. And I felt really good after the fight. I felt like I could go another 10 rounds. You know, I'm back at the gym and you know, trying to get better. So, you know, it's our sport. It's MMA. Anything can happen, and you just have to be ready for whatever. But I'm glad that I got the victory, and it was a great fight. You know, she helped me put on the show. So it's you know, she put on a good fight as well, but I was happy to get the win.
Yeah, it was definitely a good fight. Mark over at Wombat Sports is in the chat room, and he said he's interested to see what her reaction to Emi's match is and how tough it was. Oh, no, where'd it go? How tough it was to fight out of that head and arm triangle.
Okay, can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
It says, interested in seeing what her reaction to Emi's match was and how tough she was to fight out of that head and arm triangle.
Oh, well, you know, like I said, I knew Emi was going to come tough and prepared, so I was ready for that. You know, and yeah, you know, she surprised me. I thought I had her also. I think it was the second or third round when I had her in the arm triangle. But you know, again, their Japanese fighters are really tough. She was really tough, and she held in, and I wanted to kind of pace myself. You know, I knew that, hey, this could go. She's not going to tap out, and I'm going to, you know, get my arms tired, and we're going to have to go another round. So I had to pace myself.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you were the first female signed to WSOF, and you're the current strawweight champion. Usually you hear a lot of people coming from UFC and Invicta. What has your experience at World Series of Fighting been like so far?
It's been amazing with the World Series of Fighting. I have nothing but good things to say. It's an honor for me to represent, to be the first female to sign for their organization and to be their first champion to represent the organization. So it's just an honor, and it's been great.
Well, yeah, things seem to be going pretty good for you over there. There might have been a comment about you being the victim of bad timing, how Tough 20 had just came out, but you're pretty happy with your decision, and it seems like, things are really going good for you. Let's see. Gemini in the chat room would like to know, do you see yourself making a move to Invicta or UFC after your WSOF contract?
Right now, like I said, I have a few more fights under my contract, and I'm very happy to be with the WSOF, and whatever the future may bring, I'm gonna welcome it with open hands, and I just want to continue proving, challenging myself with the best opponents, and continue proving why I'm the best strawweight in the world.
That's amazing. Well, I know you said when you first started you didn't even know really about American Top Team or MMA, so to speak. What has your experience been like training with American Top Team? Especially you're at 18 and 4. You've been doing this for a while now. So I was just wondering how.
Yeah, no, I was a product of American Top Team. Basically, when I went into American Top Team, I introduced myself to everyone. I signed up and I took regular classes like anyone else, and here I am today. I've been with them since June of 2006, so right after my first professional fight. And I mean, it's been it's been an amazing experience. I train with the best trainers in the world. Ricardo Laborie is leading the pack, and I just can't complain. It's like MMA Disney in there. So I'm training around champions. I have, I can't complain.
I'm sure. Well, I know, one of your main people who's been on your side has been your mom. Was she supportive when you first started fighting, or was she kind of like, what are you doing?
Well, I didn't tell my mom for a few years. I think it was like 4 years. 4 years that she didn't know what I was doing. 4 or 5 years that she didn't know. I mean, she knew I was a professional. I was working, but she didn't know exactly. She didn't know what I was doing. But after she found out, and after I had to tell her what I was doing, she's supportive. She's very supportive of me.
That's awesome. I know there was some talk about WSOF in Japan, and you were excited. You've been there quite a few times. I mean, how exciting is it to have the opportunity to travel to these amazing destinations, to do something that you love and you're good at? And what was your favorite part about your visits to Japan? Maybe some tips.
Yeah, no, it's been amazing, what the sport has done, it's changed my life, and it's, it's taken me around the world, and it's put me in front of some great people that I meet, and now that I'll be friends forever. My best experience in Japan, I think, would have to be, this past October. I had the opportunity to take my mom with me to that fight, and it was a very special invitation from Megumi. That was her retirement fight, so it was that was fun, and taking my mom was special too. The temples are really awesome. Roppongi is awesome too, if you like to dance. I didn't get to go to Roppongi this time. My mom, I don't think my mom would have been happy, but the people are great. The food is amazing. It's just it's one of my favorite places that I've traveled.
That's cool, and that's cool that you got to experience that with your mom too, of all people. I had read that you were the protector when you were younger, protecting kids from bullies. Putting an end to bullying, it's still something that you work towards today. You're part of a speakers program, I believe, in Florida. Can you tell us a little more about, what it is maybe you talk about or what these speaker programs are about?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm part of an organization called Sweetheart and Heroes. And it's not out of Florida, it's out of New York, but there are people here in Florida too, so it's okay. And that's okay. And it's a bullying message. It's an anti-bullying organization, but we don't. It's a different message. It's very different from the others. I mean, all bully organizations are great, but the message with this and why I'm with this organization is a little. It's just special. The message is more towards the bystanders. We don't attack the bullies. We teach the bystanders, people around, seeing what's going on, knowing what's going on, how to the situation. So I work with them, and we've done a few presentations in schools and things like that. I'm going to get more active in that. When I'm not fighting, when I'm not in my fight camp, I like to get involved in the community and things like that. So, it's one of my passions. But, that's the anti-bullying organization that I work with. It's called, again, Sweetheart and Heroes.
Well, I love that. I'm part of Redemption Martial Arts and the Rise Up Against Bullying movement. So,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I really liked when I saw that you were into that, because that is a big thing to talk about. Some people don't know what they should do or can do in those situations. So I think it's great that you guys, help out with that part of it. What makes you feel so strongly about the bullying movement? Sorry, if you have maybe a bully story of your own that you can share with us.
No, I don't have any bully story of my own. I was always kind of the one protecting the people from the bullies. So, I don't know how to say it, but I was the one just standing up for people,
Yeah.
So, but I have a lot of those stories, but so it's and I just like anything that's good and positive, and obviously anti-bullying is a crisis in our country, and so it's good to help in any way.
Oh, definitely. I love to see fighters. You guys are a big influence on a lot of people, and I love when the fighters use that to help out and send out a message and, really push for good movement.
Yeah, I think that's what this platform is all about, for me at least. I'm speaking for myself. It's nice to be a champion, and it's nice to, to have all this, to do all these interviews and have all these people look up to you. But for me, this is a platform that I use to kind of, share my story and things that I believe in and things that I can, anything I can do to help in any way. It's a good platform for me, and that's what I want to use this for,
Well, I think it's great. We might have to link up our two bullying movements together and make this really happen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll talk about it after.
Definitely. Well, I saw somewhere where you mentioned you plan to stay busy. You want to fight maybe once, twice more this year. Anything in the works? Anything set in stone?
No, we're talking. I haven't. It's been only a month, so I'm kind of enjoying my time and just getting
Definitely.
back into the. Yeah, so I don't have any news yet, but when I do have, I'll make sure that I update everyone on that. But as of right now, I don't have a date.
Awesome. Well, like we said, 18-4, you deserve a little break time. So
no, I don't want a break. No, I don't want a break. No break.
Fight already?
Let's work. Yeah, no, I want to work.
How soon would you like to get in there?
Another month. But I want to I want to stay busy. I want to work, you know?
Well, that's good.
Another two fights this year would be amazing.
So for those of you listening, she wants her 2 fights this year. Give them to her. She's a champ. She deserves
That's right. Thank you.
Oh, I have had such a great time talking to you. I really appreciate you coming on here. Before I do let you go, can you maybe let your fans or listeners know where they can find you, Twitter, Facebook, or any of that good stuff? And if you have any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Of course, Vanessa. Thanks. First of all, thank you for the interview, and thank you for sharing my story. I'd like to, I always say thank all my sponsors, Deliver Lean, Tommy Copper, Garden of Life, and just thank you to all my fans for all the support they give me. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JagATT. Please like my fan page, Jessica Jag Aguilar. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jessica Jag Aguilar. And for any updates or news or any, T-shirts, go to jessicaaguilar.com. Once again, thank you guys all, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing some news. Hopefully she gets those 2 fights this year that she asked for.
Thank you. Thank you.
Updated.
I sure will. Thank you so much.
We can do this again.
Absolutely. Let's stay in touch. Thank you, Vanessa.
All right. You have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, you guys. That was Jessica Aguilar, World Series of Fighting strawweight champion. You can find her on Twitter at JagATT, or as she said, on Facebook, Instagram, just punch in her name, her YouTube channel. Want to get a shirt, go to jessicaaguilar.com. Hey, sister.
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, so I didn't look at Twitter before we came on here, and I know I was talking about John Jones versus Gustafsson, but Gustafsson got hurt. He tore his meniscus, and now he's going to fight Daniel Cormier, which is awesome.
John Jones and Daniel Cormier?
Yep. John Jones versus Daniel Cormier.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Apparently, John Jones sent Daniel Cormier a DM saying, "I hope you're ready to come to Daddy." And I like this fight. I'm excited. Daniel Cormier is undefeated. He's been beating some of the best people that you can go up against. And I remember Daniel Cormier from Strikeforce when we had like 3 fights in a month, and it was awesome because that guy just keeps going. And since he's been at 205, he's still looking good. And this might be a crazier fight than Gustafsson versus Jones, because a lot of people wanted Cormier to fight him anyway, so we'll see.
Yeah, well,
John
you know
Jones being a wrestler, but Cormier's like an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a good one. You know how I feel about, the John Jones, Alexander Gustafsson. It was a close fight, so people want to see it happen again. But me, it's kind of like you got your shot, next person, Not in like a mean way, but like, it's only fair. You tried, You almost got it, but next. So I think
I was excited for that fight, too.
That's what I'm saying. It was a really good fight, so it would be good to see them again. Yeah, everyone wants to see a good fight again. But at least, Daniel Cormier gets his chance to go up against John Jones.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the better challenges for John Jones. I mean, for Daniel Cormier.
Yeah.
This is what he needs to really just say, I am as good as I am. I don't know how to explain it.
No, yeah, but this is, they talk about Jones' wrestling. Daniel Cormier, he's a wrestling beast. He is a wrestler, and it's going to be awesome to see if he can actually take Jones down, because people can't, and or if he actually stuffs Cormier's takedown. Will he be the first guy to stuff him? I think either way, it's going to be a very interesting fight to see which way it goes.
Yes. I am very excited.
But yeah, that's guys, though, right? But I did see also.
I was saying, did you see anything else? Go ahead.
I did that Jessica I wants the first crack at Holly Holm. So I'm trying to find, these women are speaking up, saying who they want.
Yeah, that's good. See, Holly Holm. I mean, what are your thoughts as far as that fight, I and Holly Holm?
I think Holly Holmes gets the best of Jessica I. She has better stand up, obviously.
I'm sorry, I couldn't really hear you.
So she has better. Holly Holm has better stand up, so I think she's going to get the best of Jessica I. But you never know. Because I believe she broke her forearm. So we'll see how good her rehab has been. Could be wrong. She could have just broke her arm, but I thought it was her forearm for some reason. We'll see. Hopefully. I mean, that's never going to happen. We don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah. I don't see why not. Unless Holm doesn't think that I is a big enough name for her.
Oh, dang.
Oh.
That's strange. Sister. I'm on here right now. I'm trying to see if I can find anything. I'm not really, I like to think like, oh yeah, I can do all this, like look at stuff and talk and know what's going on, but I really can't.
It's really hard.
Yeah. Take some practice. Well, anyways, that's interesting. Still no news on Gina Carano signing?
Something about how they're going better today, but then someone put something up about how she might have committed to some movie. I didn't read that article, but they did ask Dana about it. He said that talks are going better, but then someone posted something about how she might commit to some movie.
I see. All right, I'm actually going to be giving Emily a call right now.
Okay.
Hold in there. Don't leave me just yet, because we know how that goes. You stay up on the news. Sorry, guys. I will get this down one day. Okay, wish me luck. See ya.
Hi, this is Emily.
Hey, Emily, it's Vanessa at WMMA Jam Live. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Are you good to talk? I think you're working right now, right?
I am, but now's a good time.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, especially at work. I know I'm sure you're pretty busy right now. I want to get into this. Just so people know, she is at work, so if she has to run, we can totally understand. Bring you back later if we're able to. Just so I'm right, your last name, is it Rady or Rady?
It's Rady.
Rady? Okay, I said Rady because like rad and then E. So we'll just take it as a compliment.
It happens.
All right. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, you're still an AMI fighter. I believe you're 01 out of Michigan. But you are also a police officer. When did you first get into mixed martial arts?
It actually started in the police academy. I knew I was going to be working for a smaller department with very few officers or deputies, and I wanted to be able to make sure that if I did run into somebody that knew something about fighting, then I'd be able to go home at the end of the day. So I checked out a gym and fell in love with it right away on the first night, and I've been doing it ever since.
And that's cool that you kind of discovered it in your, in your whole police academy thing.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, you took your first MMA fight just last year. How did it feel stepping into that cage for the first time?
That was my second fight. The first one was, it was August of 2012, so I've been doing it for a little over 2 years now.
Okay.
The first fight was a win. The second one was a loss. I went up as the first female heavyweight title fight in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. There was a little bit of a weight discrepancy. There was 64 pounds between my opponent and I. But we both decided that we weren't going to walk away from the cage. So we battled it out for 5 rounds. It went to a decision, and she beat me by a point. And it's probably my most proud moment, though. Even though it was a loss, I learned so much from that fight.
That's crazy to go in there with such a big weight difference.
Absolutely. I've gotten that a lot.
Well, is it, is fighting big where you're from, or is it hard getting fights out there?
It's hard getting fights. I think it would be easier for males to get fights around here. Those spots on the card seem to fill up a lot quicker. WMMA is just starting off in Michigan, especially in the Upper Peninsula. It's pretty scarce around here, but in a way that's a good thing because you get to know the other females that fight, and you kind of have a little group of us that, we end up on a lot of the same cards and on the same venues and everything, and it's good to have a familiar face.
Yeah, that's the thing, it's kind of hard, like, getting into it when there's so very few other people getting into it in your area, so it's cool when you finally start seeing more people coming into the gym and being interested in it. It kind of kicks you up a notch. Well, you were
absolutely
actually able to get a fight. You're going to be taking on Kelly Richards at SummerSlam this weekend. How excited were you to hear that you are the co-main event of this fight too?
I'm very excited. I actually just found out about being co-main for the kickboxing event. I believe it was last night when I was working, and I got the message, and I was completely excited. I've never fought never fought in Milwaukee before, never fought for Duke Rufus or Knockout Kings or NAFC. So all of that put together, I wasn't expecting to be able to do that, but it all came together, and I think it's going to be a really, really good fight. Kelly Richards is from Pura Vida, and that's an excellent gym, so I'm sure it's going to be a good fight.
Well, I had seen on the paper it said like there's kickboxing in the beginning and then MMA later. Are you doing kickboxing or MMA in that fight?
This one's a kickboxing. My next fight after this is in September, and that'll be in Minnesota, and then I'm going back to my comfort zone in MMA.
Okay, so your next fight, that one's going to be kickboxing as well?
Nope, my next one is MMA in September.
Oh, okay. So are you excited to get back in there and do MMA? Because, kickboxing, it's fun and everything, but being able to put all of it into your fight, hitting on the ground and everything.
Oh, absolutely. Kickboxing it's a lot of fun. My first kickboxing match was just in March, actually. And that was a really last-minute deal, but it ended up working out well, and it makes me focus a little bit more on the stand-up aspect rather than doing all-around training and everything, and I think that's good for any fighter to focus on individual aspects of their training and learn how to put it all together again.
Well, Gemini is in the chat room, and I was actually wondering myself, I had seen you had posted the other day, like, just came off a 12-hour shift at work. How do you find the time to balance such a tough job, as Gemini said, or, such a demanding career from both? Because even with fighting, it takes you being out in the gym a lot. Is it hard balancing the two lives?
Definitely. There are days where, I'll end up working a longer shift than the 12 hours. You end up pulling a little bit of overtime, and after that, you're kind of zonked out. You just want to go home and go to bed. So I can't say that I always hit my run before work or I always hit it after. It kind of depends on the day. As far as, gym time and everything, that's all kind of on a day-by-day basis. But the way I see it, it's something I enjoy, and it's something that keeps me in shape and safe at work. So it's something that I need to put time into, and I do enjoy it. It kind of keeps me centered, and it's a stress relief. So I make time to put myself first for at least a little while every day, even if it's just a hit or run if I don't have time for anything else.
Well, obviously being a police officer, that's something, you worked hard at. It's something you really wanted. As far as fighting, is this something that you want to take all the way, or is it just something you're kind of having fun with right now and seeing where it goes?
I'm actually a little bit past that point. I'm looking at doing my pro debut in January. Fighting is something that I've fallen in love with, and I don't want that to stop anytime, and I think it's time to bump it up another notch, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, what I thought was pretty cool is, I believe you just told me you had 2 Army fights so far, right?
Yep, there was 2 amateur MMA and 1 amateur kickboxing.
Okay. Well, you're still at the amateur level, but you've managed to grasp yourself some pretty amazing sponsors, Sports Food. You got Doc Howie over at Zionics, and you got those awesome shirts made. How does it feel to have so many people backing you up already before you've even, made that step to pro?
It's actually incredible. From where I live and everything like that, you don't expect to get recognition for something that you do because you enjoy. I recently started working with Linda Kreiner, my manager. Shortly after that, she starts coming to me and saying, hey, this company's looking at working with you. Sports Food is interested. Zionics is. Doc Howie is. He was actually my first sponsor. And then from there, Ignite came on. We've got Airloop Glove Drying Ring, Bite Me, and Dual Maki. And everybody has been so supportive and so open to work with me. It's absolutely amazing to have that kind of backing, and it really makes you want to push it a little bit harder every day in training. And this weekend when I step in the cage, I know that, even though I'm the only one in the cage, I've got a lot of great people and great companies behind me, and I'm going to go out there and make everybody proud.
It's amazing. Like I said, you really did, get a good group of sponsors going there. So you got some great people behind you. What about your fellow officers? How do they feel about your fighting? Do they support you as well? Or does anybody really know that you do it?
My department knows that I do it. They're very supportive. Even the administration are. They're constantly asking me, when's your next fight? Is it close by? Is it something we can figure out how to go to? My fight, the title match that I was up against Justice Galloway for, I had everybody from EMTs that I work with to some of the guys from work showed up, and it was absolutely amazing to see that kind of a turnout, and people drove 2 hours to see that and dropped everything to be there for me. So that's pretty awesome to have that kind of backing, and I'm the youngest one at this department, so for everybody to show an interest in something I enjoy, I think that means something.
Definitely. I think that's amazing that people are supporting you in that way at work and, in the gym. So that's really awesome to hear. Where do you currently train at right now? And I believe somebody was wondering, Mark from Wombat Sports was wondering what weight you're fighting at right now.
Right now I'm at 185. I'm looking at, by the time I get done with this next fight in September, I'll be working on a cut down to 155. I'm excited about that cut. That's my original weight class. That's where, my first fight was and everything. And then I did go up to heavyweight to take on that title match. But it'll be good to go back to home turf, and there's a lot more opponents at that weight. So that'll be exciting. As far as training, since I'm in Ontonagon, Michigan, and that's a pretty desolate area when it comes to MMA. There's no gyms for an hour in any direction around me. So I've been going wherever it takes. I travel an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it takes to go and train with people. And I've really adopted the policy where everybody that has anything to do with fighting can teach you something. Last week I went and kind of dropped in on a Shukukai karate class, and the guy that runs that, I believe he was ranked 8th in the world for karate. And he's a black belt. He's very knowledgeable. He's an excellent teacher. And to be able to do that in my hometown, that was the first time I haven't had to travel to go to the gym anywhere. And to have that kind of a resource here is absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah, definitely, I'm sure. I know this is like off topic, but I actually saw you posted that you had participated in the Run or Die, which is a 5K color run. I've always wanted to do one of those. How was that?
That was a lot of fun. I was concerned. I've never done any kind of a competition run. In our academy, the day before graduation, they made us do this, actually as a voluntary 10-mile fun run, because someone had the idea to call it a fun run. And, I did that. I completed that. It was I was obviously in shape for it and everything, but that was a huge accomplishment. And then to drop down and do this fun run, I was actually more nervous about that because there was just so many people. I think they had like 2,000 people, and I went with a couple of friends, and we had an absolute blast. You didn't even notice that you were running. You were passing people up, and there was people running with little kids and stuff, and we had a blast.
That's awesome. I've always wanted to do it, and I saw your pictures, and I was so jealous. I'm sure I would have, like, one color because I would have stopped, like, way back at the first mile. But I think that's cool. That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, they've got different, like, dye stations every so far that you run through, and people are just throwing this, it's kind of like chalk dust at you. And it was a lot of fun. I had one friend that every time we ran through, she's like, throw dye at me. So, I mean, we had a blast with it.
That's so cool. I have to go do one of those.
Absolutely. Highly recommended.
Sorry. I got a little off track now. I'm all, like, excited. We have to go to one of those things because I've always wanted to do it.
You love it. You really would.
This video about some, like, mysterious lights in your hometown. Like, what's going on over there? Because I've seen some of your pictures, and it looks pretty like a nice, wooded area. That sounds like is something scary going on. I love all that mystery and paranormal and UFO stuff, so.
Right. We've got it's this little town of Paulding. I don't even know if it's considered a town. It might be a village or even smaller than that, but there's a couple of different stories behind it from, there was one where a train conductor, there was the guy that goes out and checks the tracks and makes sure there's nothing on it. And they found 2 little kids on the tracks, so the guy that checks it was waving his light back and forth trying to warn the kids. And then that guy and both kids ended up dying. The train hit them. So one of the legends is that he goes back every night with his light and tries to warn them. There's another one, I believe it's when they put in the power line there, back whatever year that would have been, that the Native American chief was upset with it. So he tries to scare off the workers that are doing that. And I mean, there's so many stories behind it, and they've had the show Fact or Faked out there. A group of Michigan Tech students came out and tried to see what it was. People think it's car lights, and from somebody who spends a lot of time on those back roads and has to patrol them and everything, I've been through every inch of that Forest Service land, and there's nowhere where you can see the car lights and everything. So it's pretty cool. You get people from all over the place, and as a cop, I kind of end up being sort of an unofficial tour guide. People are constantly asking about it, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to go and try that out. First of all, I'm the biggest chicken shit, but I love that stuff. So I'm going to go and do a paranormal investigation in your woods.
Absolutely.
Well,
we've had people out there with everything from the thermal imaging cameras to GPSs, and there's some huge reward floating around out there, I guess, for whoever figures it out. So, I mean, if you win that, I get a cut, right?
Oh, definitely. Well, yeah, you got to help me out. We're just going to be out there throwing chalk at each other. We're not even looking for ghosts.
Yeah, that'll probably happen.
Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you're at work. I really appreciate you taking the time while you're over there, risking your life out on the streets to talk to us for a little bit. And good luck on your fight this weekend. Make sure you keep us updated on how that goes. Before I do let you go, can you let people know where they can find you on Twitter or Facebook? Also, if you have any shout-outs you'd like to give.
Absolutely. Twitter, it's @Fighter50, and that's O has 3 H's on the end. It's all spelled out. Facebook, it's Emily Rady, and then I have my fight page as well. If you want to shoot me a friend request or just follow my fan page, that's awesome. I love seeing, new people pop up on there, and start to get involved in the page. That's a lot of fun, especially when it's people that I don't know and I know that they're, you know, showing an interest in supporting me in that way. So, I mean, that's definitely a lot of fun. As far as shout-outs, anybody that's supported me in any way, from the close group of teammates that I had when I first started out, Amanda Wyatt, Missy Pontbriand, to everybody that has been able to teach me anything about fighting in this past time. I don't care if we sparred once and I learned to keep my guard up, otherwise you catch a nasty right. I mean, whatever it is, that's every little bit of that makes me the fighter that I am today. And the awesome sponsors and the manager that I have, and obviously my family who's been there every step of the way, even though I think I've got a couple of them a little bit worried about why I fight. But, I mean, I think that's part of the game. I think every fighter's family does that. So it all means a lot to me, and it does encourage me to push myself farther every day.
Well, I think that's amazing. I totally forgot I wanted to thank you for picking me to win the sports food strips.
Not
really
a problem.
Cool.
I feel awesome.
It was so crazy because I took the strip. Okay, first of all, like, I don't fight, I don't train, nothing. So, you know, I was working out a little bit and I was dying and I was like, perfect time to try these strips. And I tried it and I like got up to go like start my workout and all of a sudden something just like hit me and I was alert and ready to go. It was so crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I was actually just talking to Peter Raskin about it, and I was asking about a weight cut because a lot of fighters, you know, if they just have a couple pounds to cut, they're going to cut water weight, and your body misses out on a lot of that. And if you don't rehydrate, and I mean, you see fighters doing everything from IVs to drinking Pedialyte and Gatorade and everything after a weight cut. And with these strips, you can actually take those and your body doesn't feel, I mean, you're going to feel the effects because you're dehydrating yourself, but it's going to be a lot different than if you weren't getting those electrolytes through your body, and you don't have to worry about putting on water weight then. So I think it's an awesome tool. I can't wait to, you know, use it if I do have to cut weight in the future, and I've been using them every day during training anyways, so it's been definitely a huge tool for me.
Yes, I like them. I think everybody should at least give them a shot. You never know. I like them. Definitely. I think they worked pretty good. So I really appreciate you, again, picking me for that. And thank you again for coming on here. Make sure you keep us updated. I'll try and stay on top of your fight, too. So, and good luck. I'm really excited for you. I know Gemini is in here in the chat room. She said, good luck, Emily, Team 5-0. So she's all excited for your fight this weekend, too.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, Emily. Thanks again. You have a good rest of the week, and good luck.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, you guys. That was Emily Rady. You can check her out on Twitter at Fighter50. O is OHHH. Type her name on Facebook. Her fight is this weekend, so good luck. We will keep you guys updated as we hear how the results go along. I forgot to... Hello. Hey. Well, we are going to be joined soon. I can't talk today. By Mark from WMMA News. I'm pretty excited. I'm a little nervous, I'm not going to lie, because, he's from over there, Wombat Sports. He's been in the game for a long time. Like, this is his stuff. So, but I'm excited. How are you doing over there, sister? Did you find any news?
No, not really. Just people excited about that thing.
What else is going on this weekend?
Oh, Brown versus Waller.
Yes, Brown versus Waller.
Be so good.
What did you took all my stuff.
It's not.
Who else is fighting this weekend? Is any?
Yes. I believe Juliana Lima
Yes, Juliana Lima, Joanna, yeah, I'm not very good at that either. Hold on, let me pull that up. Juliana Lima versus Joanna.
6-1. She's supposed to be on the Ultimate Fighter, but there was an English barrier.
For Lima, or okay, here we go. This fight is going to take place July 26th, which is Saturday at UFC on Fox 12 in San Jose, California. Joanna is 6-0. Lima is 6-1. So, yeah, Lima was supposed to be on Ultimate Fighter. She couldn't make it because of language barrier, so she is getting this fight this weekend. It says here she enters the UFC after a 68-second knockout win in Brazil. So that's pretty, hopefully that's a good fight.
Mm-hmm. But I think she has 5 decisions.
Let me see.
It's not a boring fight.
Oh, Juliana.
That knockout might have been her only one.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully, I don't want to see fights that go to decision. I do. I'm just saying, like, when it's women, I like to see them go a little harder.
Yeah, if it goes to decision, it was such a good fight.
Whereas Jedrzejewski or whatever, she has 3 decisions, but she also has 2 KOs and a submission. So hopefully, I'm excited. I'm always excited to see a women's fight. But they're on that Brown Lawler fight. Oh, that's such a good fight. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Brown versus Lawler is going to be a really good fight. I'm excited for that one too. And you know, not to say like all the other fights haven't been good, but
yeah. And I didn't disappoint with Cerrone when I said to watch it, so watch this one too. I remember I love Lawler. Lawler's been around forever. I still remember when he fought Melvin Manhoef and was getting his leg killed, and then he just knocked him out in Strikeforce. I know you remember that fight. I know you've seen it. But Brown's a gangster. Lawler's a gangster. And I think someone's going to get hurt.
Sorry, I don't know. Still lining up to fight class. Oh, sorry, sister. Mark's calling in. So right. I'm going to take this call. We'll get back to this after, okay? Right. Bye. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
Hi, thank you. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out how to work this thing, so I'm always like, who's calling me?
No problem. Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
That's good. Are you usually on the end where you're the one being interviewed?
I've been asked. I've been a couple times. People have been asking me questions and all that as well. I usually do it technically I do it on a weekly basis with Gina's show, because Gina will ask me a lot of questions usually when I call in a little bit later on to try to give her some news or whatever. So.
Oh, okay. So you got this down. You've been in the business for some time. Yeah. I'm sure you had it down.
Yeah, I got it down pretty well, yeah. So.
Well, you've been doing this for some time now. You were the former news editor at Fighter Girls, and you're currently editor-in-chief over at Wombat Sports. What is it about women's mixed martial arts that has you, pouring so much of your time and effort into it?
I've always had a kind of a passion for it. I've had a passion for MMA, ever since the UFC started, and I've also had a little bit of a passion for female fighting and female. I could consider myself a little bit of a feminist in terms of this, where I like to see women get equal opportunity when they can. And back in the day, I was a huge women's wrestling fan. And, not the kind of the dirty stuff that you see sometimes on the internet, but, back in the day, I enjoyed, female matches like on the WWE and WCW and all that as well. So I was kind of a fan of those as well. But, I kind of have a little bit of passion for it in terms of that. And the fact that, it's I kind of hooked actually back in 2005. I think it was 2004, 2005. That was when I caught my first female match, and that's a long time ago when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Early times of the sport. So, Molly Helsel was the gal that was the first gal I ever saw fight, and and I always see her as one of the unsung heroes of the sport that people don't know about. But yeah, I've always enjoyed it. There's always just been a passion that goes on with these girls and these ladies that come in to the sport. Always wanting to prove something, always have that heart to go in there and try to be, they're a little bit happy that and they appreciate it more that they're there, that they've accomplished something. A lot of the guys sometimes don't do that. They don't realize how lucky they are to be fighting for the UFC. You don't see that, as much as you do see these ladies who work their way up all the way for this past decade, a little bit more over a decade, to make the sport legitimate. And it's just absolutely unbelievable. So there's this inert passion that these fighters have, and they've given so much back to me too. I'm very appreciative of them saying that thank you for helping us promote the sport. And I've done this for 5-6 years. Ever since I was with Fighter Girls, and now I'm with Wombat Sports. But I think it's great to be able to have the opportunity to interact with these ladies and to see that they've become such superstars now. And when I was back in the day when I was doing a podcast, and these girls were doing their amateur debuts. I remember Jessamine Duke. I had interviewed her right before her amateur debut. So it's great to see some of these gals make their way up. Joanna Calderwood, I actually did an interview with right before her pro debut in Scotland. And I was just looking at the article the other day, and I was kind of awestruck, here's Joanna Calderwood, the gal that I've interviewed back in the day. I was probably one of the first people to know who she was, besides maybe Rosie Sexton, because Rosie Sexton was like, look out for this girl, she's going to do wonders in the sport. And then now to see her on The Ultimate Fighter, it's just kind of awe-inspiring there to see that, I was there at the beginning of these gals' careers and helping them promote who they were, and now they're these big superstars as well. And they've been more than appreciative for me to have helped them kind of start their career.
Oh, definitely. One of the articles I was reading, back then when Dana White was still at that point where he's like, no, women are not going to be in the UFC.
Oh.
And, he thought that.
You want to hear something very interesting?
Yes.
I think it was 2004. I'll have to look up the exact date because I was at a UFC event. It was actually, I think, the first UFC event I've ever seen. I think it was the first and only UFC event I've ever seen. And I had asked that question because I had just saw Molly Helsel fight, and I was I asked Dana during a press conference, are we going to see women in the UFC? And he said that we wouldn't. And I think I was probably the first person ever to ask him that question. I'm pretty sure I was. And then everybody started asking the question later on. So this was back in 2005, 2004. So, yeah. I know. And I think I was one of the first people to ever ask him that question. So.
See, even to make it to that, to be the first person to even ask Dana White, hey, what about women, and he felt there was no depth in women's mixed martial arts, and there you were naming off people like Carano, Cyborg, Tate, Rousey.
Well,
McMahon,
this is before them. Before they, I think Carano and Julie were right around that time, I think. But yeah, but I wasn't really naming off names. I was just giving a general question.
No. In one of your articles.
Yeah. Yeah, but I wasn't covering the sport at that time, but it's happened that I was working for a TV station in the area, and I was able to ask the question. But but that kind of was kind of the beginning of everything. And then when Carano faced Caitlin Young on Showtime, that wasn't Showtime, it was on CBS. When I watched that fight, and that was what actually kind of jump started me into covering the sport. So. It took a couple more years for me to kind of get into the mindset of going and covering this full bore, and things kind of started to kind of steamroll from there. And then it came to a point with Fighter Girls that I just, I had so much content that they weren't keeping up with what I had. So I left Fighter Girls and just started Wombat Sports because I really wanted to cover not only women's mixed martial arts, but also these other aspects of the sport, because there's a lot of girls that were doing BJJ at the time. There's a lot of girls that were doing wrestling. So kind of ties into that as well.
Yeah, that's what I like when I go and I look at the site. Like, you really do cover everything, and it's not even just MMA, but there's boxing and wrestling. You cover everything from the Ami fights to, the big time. And it has to be exciting to, like you said, you were there as Jessamine Duke, making her Ami debut. And I remember seeing one, it was back in 2011, where Ronda Rousey was barely had her second pro fight, and Jessica Aguilar too. She was barely getting out there, and I can only imagine what it's like to see. First you were, talking about these fights they just had, barely fighting in the beginning, and now you got Ronda Rousey, who's a champion over at UFC. You got Jessica Aguilar, who's a champion over at World Series of Fighting. It's kind of like you got to watch them grow into who they are.
Yeah, I mean, and you can tell. I mean, in Jessica's case, she hasn't changed very much since I first interviewed her. She's always the very charming, very, very nice person, and I've known Jessica for quite a while now. I've had the opportunity to meet her in person. I'm hopefully going to be able to see her again over at Invicta 8 if she ends up cornering India, which I think she will, which would be very exciting to be able to see her again. As for Rousey, I think that's a different story. I think she's changed a lot since she first came into the sport. I think initially, it was really great. I had the opportunity to interview her 3 or 4 years ago when she was, actually maybe two more, it's like 2.5 years ago when she was starting out in the sport, and she was starting to make waves. And she was very, very humble and very, very nice when I first talked to her. And then she got to that point at which I think she had a little bit of an ego and a little bit of chip on her shoulder. And then, she got to that point where she felt like she was, can I cuss at all on the show?
Oh, go for it.
She felt like she was the shit.
Yeah.
And that she was the person, she was WMMA person. I took offense to that because becoming the sport for so long, there's just so many. And I wrote an article that is really a lot more tamer than what I'm about to say. But the fact that there's these girls that are out there that helped pave the way for her to make a platform. And I felt at the time that she's kind of overshadowing it. And then her fans kind of did the same thing. They're like, oh, she is women's mixed martial arts. She's not all women's mixed martial arts. There's a lot of other gals that help pioneer this sport and set the platform. No taking away from what she's done for this sport. She's taken it to a new level. She's gotten women. She helped get women in the UFC. I think that now that she's friends with gals like Jessamine Duke and gals like Shayna Baszler, she's getting to understand now that there were a lot of gals before her that helped pave that way. And so I think she's starting to give credit where credit's due, that some of these girls were there to pave the way. I think she's turned a corner. I did have a little problem with Ronda for a while, and then I think she's just turned that corner where she's kind of in the mode of being appreciative of where the sport is and who these girls are. So for everybody's information, no, I don't hate Ronda Rousey. It was the situation where I think that she's turned a corner and she realizes that, hey, it's not just me in this sport, it's a bunch of girls. And if it wasn't for gals that faced her in the first place, she wouldn't be where she is now. You gotta give credit to Miesha Tate, because Miesha Tate, took it to another level. Alexis Davis, Liz Carmouche, who stepped up and said, I'll take you on your UFC debut. The sport wouldn't be anything else without some of these other fighters as well. So, I respect Ronda with the utmost respect. I think she's a really great gal, and I just want people to know that, as much as Ronda's done, she's not the whole end-all, be-all of the sport. There's just so much that's going on. Once Tough 20 ends up happening, I think that people are going to realize that a lot more because these girls are on the same, a little bit more on the same level, and they're going to be really, really darling personalities. So
definitely, I love the way you went over that because I felt the same way. I felt a little like, oh no, the way she's acting just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. As far as Ronda Rousey, and then you talk to her and she's a different person. And I think maybe it's something that they've made her become. Everybody put that on her.
And I think she admitted at one point that she didn't have any girlfriends that were a part of the sport, and I think that was the big problem too. Back in the day, she didn't have those girlfriends, and I think that's when Jessamine and Shayna, and when they were on the show, I think that gave her a little bit of shot of it's not just you that has to carry this burden. There's these girls that were there from the beginning that want to take up that mantle as well. And I think she also said that she's going to be relieved once Tough 20 starts to come out because these girls are going to start helping lift some of that weight off her shoulders of being the gal that's promoting women's mixed martial arts. And I think that she's just turned a corner because of gals like Shayna and Jessamine and the ability for them to first of all, have somebody to talk to and say, that has been there and done that, especially Shayna. Shayna's been here for a long time. So to have a gal like that in Ronda's camp is just absolutely, outstanding. So I think that Ronda's really, really lucky to have a gal like Shayna and Jessamine in the camp to be able to keep her connected to the rest of the community. And this community was always about, as much as they fought, as much as these girls have different personalities and some people don't like each other, there's always been the mentality ever since the beginning that we're in this together, that we're here to build this sport. We're here to give really great fights, and we're here to, prove people wrong. And that was one goal that, everybody had. In the beginning, and that's what's really special about the sport too, because there are still at that point where they're starting to say, we're trying to expand, as much as possible, and it's been unbelievable for the past 5 or 6 years just to think about it. I remember back in the day when I'm only covering maybe a dozen fights, maybe even less, maybe 6 or 7 fights a month, and those were all pro fights. Now, and you look at my list, and it's just unbelievable how many fights are going on, at least 40 pro fights, and that doesn't include any of the amateurs. And there wasn't very much of an amateur division back in the day, too. So yeah, it is very interesting.
Yeah, that's what's amazing about you, because just, being on here or WMMA Jam on Friday, I don't even cover nearly as many fights as you do for these shows, and I feel overwhelmed. So I can imagine you're over there. Like I said, if you guys haven't checked out Marq's work, go to Wombat Sports. You will find everything there, upcoming fights every weekend, whether it's people we know, promotions we know or not. Like, you really have it covered. I think it's crazy. Like, is it just you, or do you have, like, a team of people who are helping you stay up to date on this?
It's just me, and it's a lot of work. It's just me on the site, and I really tell you the truth, I wish I had more energy to put into the site, really, because I could really just pump it up to another level I can. But yeah, it's just unbelievable. I have a stats article that I wrote, a couple of weeks ago, detailing the first 6 months of this year. And just imagine that there's 31 different countries that had female mixed martial arts fights this year. And those were the pro ones. And it's just absolutely unbelievable to see how far this sport has grown. Those 31 countries in the first 6 months of this year, and that's not including what's going on, within the next 6 months. Let me bring it up real quick because there's another stat I want to give you guys right now as well. It's just that it's been crazy. 245 fights so far this year. Those are just
my God.
I haven't got to the amateur stuff yet because amateur stuff is kind of crazy. I wish promoters would post their results a lot sooner and a lot better. Then some of them, a lot of promotions don't do that, which kind of irritates me because I know there's there's some states like Michigan that don't have a commission, so people don't post results, and it's crazy. But anyway, 245 fights, 18% increase from last year at that time. So, 245 fights. So we're kind of, I would say, and that was without Invicta. So if with Invicta being here, having about 3 more cards, I won't be surprised if we top 600 by the end of the year. The last 6 months of the year tends to be a lot more active for some reason. I'm not going to be surprised if we top over 600 pro female fights this year. It keeps on growing every year. There's always an exponential, increase in terms of those pro fights. And there's a lot of gals that made their pro debut so far this year, and a couple more that are set to do so. So we're seeing a lot of girls make that transition over from amateur to pro as well. So it's an interesting stat just to think that there's going to be so much more. And like I said, this is ever growing, and it's kind of unbelievable for me to have covered the sport for so long to see this number, 245 for the first first months of this year. It's just kind of unbelievable. And also the fact that the most interesting stat, I think, besides the fact that there's 31 countries, flyweights had the most fights this year. 125ers had the most pro fights this year so far. And that's the one that seems to be like, there's a lot of 135ers. Oh, there's 115ers. Well, a lot of the gals that are 125 right now are trying to pushing themselves that way, and I really hope that that's something that can be considered to the UFC at some point. I know that Misha had talked about possibly dropping to 125 at some point. It would be interesting to see if Tough 20 goes out like it has. Maybe within a year they'll bring in 125, and Misha will go down, and some of these girls like Sarah Moras can go down. And there's a lot of gals that are signed with the UFC that are natural 125ers that are fighting at 135. So there'll be a mid division there too. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, that's what I love about Invicta is that they do have so many weight classes. So there's a lot of opportunities for the women in there. Not only
Emily. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to mention that, obviously Emily must be a little bit excited because she, she said she wants to drop to 155, and now Invicta's adding that weight class, which I think is needed. These girls have actually organized themselves so very well at the 155 division that I think that by the end of the year we could possibly see a lightweight ranking starting. I have to get on that. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I really need to start talking to some of these girls and get their pro records down and kind of get an idea of where everybody is. But it's a growing division. These girls have, like I said, really kind of organized themselves. There's like over 100 fighters in that division right now, and they have their own Facebook page as well. I think that they've done it right. They've said, okay, we really needed this division because there's these girls that cannot make 145, and we're going to see 155. And Invicta, has kind of pioneered that. She said, okay, well, there's a demand for it. We got it here. So absolutely great job for Invicta to be able to introduce the lightweights there as well.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely amazing. It just opens more doors for more amazing fighters to come out and prove what they've been working so hard for, not being limited or forced to another weight class. What is to say, not only did you get to witness, the rise of so many of these female mixed martial artists, but you also got to watch Invicta come to life. You've been doing this so long and you're so into it. You really did get to see it. Being such a huge fan of WMMA, how much did it mean to you to see a promotion like Invicta come into play?
It was interesting because I was there, I guess, towards the beginning of the conception of it, back in the day when and Janet Martin had actually, approached me and said, I'm going to do this all-female promotion. I had my doubts early on because I really didn't want it to be like the, WNBA, where, it seems like it's like, it's WNBA, for the UFC or whatever. And, I didn't really believe in it. And then Shannon came on board and she convinced me. When, she started, pumping up what fights she had on the card, the way that it was marketed. Shannon is just a pure genius in terms of that, and once one kind of fell into our lap and we were able to watch it, and the cool thing was the first fight was free for everybody to watch it. I mean, it just was so amazing, and just because to see that it crashed a server says a lot too. You know, it's like these girls, and I mean, we're estimating about 200,000 people that are tuned in to watch this show, and that's just unbelievable. But you know, it just goes to show that you know there was a demand for it, and you know, I mean, this was before I think Ronda had signed with the UFC, and you know, a lot of people don't give credit to Invicta for proving that there's a market for it too. You know, I think that you know, I think that helped. You know, I think that people don't realize that the UFC was interested in Gina Carano back in the day for the Elite XC, but now like say forget what the promotion they absorbed back in the day was, but they were interested in signing her, but they felt that the division wasn't deep enough. And when Cyborg defeated her, they kind of abandoned the idea. So I think that Invicta proved that there was a division there to help support Ronda in the UFC, and that was part of it too. So you know, part of the credit goes to Invicta, I think, too, for them to be a part, you know, of that as well. So, but yeah, I mean, it's you know, I think it was great, and I think Shannon was the right person at the right time. And you know, just talking to her this past weekend, you know, it's a very hard job for her to be able to run this kind of promotion. And I mean, she has support. You know, at least she's got Julie Kedzie there behind her now. But it's a lot of work, from what she was telling me. You know, I mean, it's just to think of all the work that she has to put in to get these fighters in, to set up their hotel rooms, to be able to do this. And I mean, she doesn't have a marketing department. She doesn't have a travel department. You know, she's doing a lot of the work herself with a very small number of people in the office. So, you know, a lot of credit has to do with Shannon and all that as well. But Shannon has the idea that she wants the fighters the fighters to come first. And, you know, they're the ones that are putting on the show. She's always been fair with them in terms of a pay and everything like that. She's given anybody an opportunity as long as they can fight and as long as they've proven themselves as fights. So I think this was well needed, and really I think that Shannon's probably the best thing to happen in women's martial. One of the best things to happen in women's martial arts since the inception.
Oh, definitely. I'm excited. I was excited when they finally announced Invicta FC8. You know, as I said, you cover from AMI to pro. So one good thing about Invicta, too, is they bring on some people. You know, you got JJ Aldridge on there who's making her pro debut on this Invicta FC8 card. Who are you excited or who were you excited when it first came out, like, to see on that list, like, getting a shot?
Well, I mean, just a side note on that is that, you know, I got the opportunity to interview JJ earlier this year. She was actually up here watching a fight with a couple of her teammates, and I was able to interview her before her last amateur fight. Really charming gal. I cannot wait to get to see her again. Really charming individual. I think people are going to really like her when she debuts with Invicta. And I know there's very few debuters on this card, but I was talking to Shannon, and Shannon said that this next card, Invicta FC9, expect to see a lot more, you know, debuters on that card. You know, so I know this one was a little bit more vet heavy than the rest, but coming this next card, expect some more pro debuters. Now, to answer your question, what sold me on wanting to go was because, you know, I don't have a budget here. I can only go to so many events this year.
Exactly.
And, you know, so what sold me on going to this one was Roxanne Modafferi versus Tara La Rosa 3. And, you know, if you know, a lot of people aren't hip to, you know, this trilogy. They're not really hip to it. And I highly recommend you guys look up the last fight between Tara La Rosa and Roxanne Modafferi at Moosin. It was Fight of the Year that year for the Women's Mixed Martial Arts Awards. And you know, I think it was an absolute great fight. Coming into this fight, there are a lot different fighters, I think. Tara's right now over at Jackson's, and Roxanne's here in the United States, and she's fighting over at Syndicate. I think they've picked up a lot of skills. I think Roxanne's picked up a lot more striking, and I'm interested to see kind of where Tara is right now because she's at Jackson's, and I'm pretty sure they're trying to improve her game a little bit. I know she's had a rough patch, but it'll be an interesting fight between these two, and that was what sold me. I wanted to see it was like the opportunity of a lifetime to watch the rubber match between these two. But like I said, this is one of those things where I'm an old schooler, so I absolutely know what to expect coming in. I mean, and I don't know what to expect coming in, but I knew this is a fight that I had to be there live for, and it's an opportunity. It's like having the opportunity to watch Nirvana live before Kurt Cobain died. You know, so
right?
It's like one of those things where it's one of the lifetime opportunities you have to go see, and everything kind of just fell into place. And that was when she announced that fight, I was like, I'm going. You know, I have to go for this one. So that was the fight that sold me on it. And there was a side note that I don't know a lot of people caught on my MRS column, which I highly recommend if anybody reads any of my stories during the week, the MRS column is the one you have to read because it's the one that talks a lot about the miscellaneous news that may have not caught this during the week, and it also talks about the upcoming fights of the year and some rumors that I'm hearing around the MMA world. But one of the things that Chen had told me this past weekend, and I put in the MRS, was the fact that she had said that she didn't originally have a strawweight title match set for this card. She cited that after she looked at the card that Julie had given her, said we need to have a strawweight title match just to show that the division's back, and it has been back. She's signed a lot of solid 115 pounders. The division is fully booked with a good 12, 13 different fighters from a lot of different countries. So she insisted that we have a 115-pound title match this time around. So I'm kind of a little bit excited to see what Katja and Eggy do in their fight as well. There's a lot of really great gals that are going to be on this card, and there's going to be a lot of girls that aren't going to be fighting on this card that are going to be out there too. I know Manic Body Cooper said that she's going to be out there watching. And I mean that's another kind of bonus for me because I get to interview some of these girls while I'm out there. So it's really great as well. Are you planning to go out to Invicta 8?
I really want to. I'm really going to try. I'm right there with you. I just went to the Fan Expo. I was there all weekend, so I don't know if I can make it. But, man, I want to. It seems like, there's a lot of good fighters on the card, a lot of wonderful fighters going to be in the stands watching it. And, it's been a while. It's Invicta FC8, so I really want to try and get out there. So hopefully.
Well, hopefully we get to meet each other because it would be great. Yeah, I mean it's great. I mean it's going to be a great event. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm probably depending on where 9 is going to be. I don't know if I'll be able to make it out for 9, but it was just a situation where for me, I mean I have to kind of pick where I'm going to go. I'll take maybe 1 or 2 trips, maybe a year. My first trip this year was out to Vegas for the Dev 20 tryouts, which was a lot of fun. And I was one of the few like media people out there that was kind of coverage that was kind of deserved of it. I think a lot of people kind of went with only a couple of people I kind of interviewed, like I think 23, 24 of the 55. So I was really kind of getting as many people as I possibly can. Plus I got a couple other interviews with a couple of people that were there, and I tried to get a couple of the gals that were already in the Tough House as well. So. But yeah, I'm very interested. I think I'm super psyched for this card, and I'm really looking forward to meeting a lot of these girls. A lot of these girls that I'm probably going to be meeting for the first time. And I've been following them for a little while. I mean, Irene Aldana is somebody I followed last year.
I'm sorry, Mark. I don't mean to cut you off. I don't know. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I don't know if it's going to cut us off right now. We went so long I didn't even realize the time. So just in case, I just want to thank you so much for being on here with us. I really enjoyed talking to you. We definitely do it again because I feel like we got a lot we didn't get to cover. But definitely, I think it's going to cut us off in a few minutes. Hopefully we can come back, try this out again.
Yeah, sure. Usually it gives about an extra 15 minutes maybe. I know Gina always does that too. So we'll wrap up here real quick too. Yeah. we'll wrap up real quick. So we'll be in archive, guys, if you're listening live. But we'll wrap up real quick. Like I said, just go to wombatsports.com. Check out all the stuff that's going on there. I'm expecting to do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't gotten to yet over the past couple of days, just because the past couple of weeks because I've been a little bit under the weather. But I've got like a bunch of stuff that I kind of have backlogged. I got to do my Future Stars column, which I highlight girls under the age of 18 that are looking to become fighters when they're older, be it Muay Thai fighters, be it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters, be it MMA fighters. So look out for that. Let's see here. Who else? Boxing, obviously, a lot of stuff going on there. And yeah, I mean, just keep an eye out on the website as well. One more tidbit I want to kind of put out there, since I again, something that I don't think anybody necessarily caught if they haven't read my MRS, but Mauro Inallo and Kimo won't be commentating on Invicta FC8. Did you know that?
They won't?
They won't be, yeah. Mauro, I think, is working for Showtime that weekend, and Kimo is fighting. So.
Yeah.
I was talking to Shannon, and Shannon was very tight-lipped about who the announce team is going to be, but she says they expect an announcement either this week or next on who the announce team is going to be. I'm interested to see who it is. It's going to be tough to kind of replace tomorrow in play-by-play, because you were telling me that there's very few good play-by-play people that are out there. So I'm very interested to see who she ends up bringing in. She has some ideas, I guess, on who those people are going to be, but like I said, she was very tight-lipped about it as well. And one more piece of news that I'll break for you guys. Invicta FC9 expect Barb Honchak to defend her title. We don't know against who yet, but it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of a no-brainer, because she's the only champion. She's obviously not going to, obviously we kind of know what the main event's going to be for 10, but Invicta FC9, which we'll have a date, I think, once Invicta FC8 when it comes around, they'll probably announce when Invicta FC9 is going to be. But I expect Barb Honchak to defend her flyweight championship on that card, and I'm expecting a few surprises. So make sure you guys check that out as well. With that in mind, like I said, just follow me on Twitter. You can follow me at WMMA News if you guys want my commentary, because I'll talk anything WMMA plus some MMA stuff plus any pop culture stuff or whatever. If you want just the news, nothing but the news and the results and all that as well, you can follow at Wombat Sports. That's just basically dedicated to news and matches. And go to wombatsports.com, and like us on Facebook as well, so you can get the feed about whenever I post a story as well. And please interact. Feel free to ask me questions, and if there's anybody that you like me to promote, please let me know. I'm going to try my best and darndest to get this site as big as I possibly can. I know I'm only one person, but I've done. I'm only one person, but I'm getting it done. And I'll do one more quick plug. A good friend of mine, Melissa Smith, put out a book called "The History of Women's Boxing." I highly recommend anybody go and buy that. If you look it up on, I believe it's on Amazon as well, or if you go to Facebook and go look up History of Women's Boxing on Facebook, you'll be able to find a link to buy it. I highly recommend you do so. It talks a lot about the early history of women's boxing, all the way back from the early 1700s, and it's basically, basically it was the basis for a lot of what's going on now in the women's mixed martial arts. And I was happy, and I've been privileged enough to be acknowledged in that book too. So I highly recommend you guys go and buy that book as well. So make sure you guys do that as well. I think that's it. I think that's all I have to promote. So hopefully we'll get to see you over at Invicta FC8. Fingers crossed that you can make it out there.
Hopefully. I really do hope I get out there, and I hope I get to meet you. Thank you so much for all your breaking news and all the information. I definitely go and check out your site to get some of my news, so thank you for keeping us up to date on everybody from the amis to the pros. You do an amazing job, and I really enjoy talking to you today.
No problem at all. I mean, whenever you ever need me, let me know, and I'll be on. And like I said, if you have any questions, always feel free to ask.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mark. You have a good week.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right, you guys, we've been a little over. That's fine. That was really fun talking to Mark over at Wombat Sports, WMMA. Thank you guys for sticking in there with us. Sister, are you there?
Yeah.
All right. So we only got a few minutes. We did go over, but
real quick, that American Apparel thing that's going to give the fighters some money?
Yes, I wanted to cover a couple things real quick. Some fights this weekend. Maureen Reardon versus Lauren Barefoot at RFA 16. That's July 25th. Redemption Ambassador Shauna Carew is taking on Jeannie Connors at Rochambeau MMA 3. That's July 26th. This weekend, we said Juliana Lima, Joanna, they're going to be at UFC Fox 12. One last thing before we let you go. I believe you have Americana MMA, sister?
Yeah.
Americana MMA. They said that they wanted to, from now until August, I kind of just want to look just to make sure, but they want to donate the money to all the fighters on Invicta FC8, which is absolutely amazing. You know, they even said themselves, we're crazy, but we don't care. Shipping, everything. They want to donate every dime from now until the end of August to all those ladies. What were your thoughts on that, sister?
I think that's cool. I think that's awesome. I don't really have any more thoughts on that. Just that it's awesome. Good for the ladies.
No, it is.
They're starting to get a little more love, you know?
Oh, yeah, especially for a company to say every dime from now until the end of August is going to go towards those ladies. They have a $10,000 goal, I believe, so that would put out about $500 per fighter on that card, so that's really cool. Go to the site, I think MMAgear.com. They got T-shirts on there for like $20. They got Michelle Olds, Michelle Watterson, Leslie Smith. Is it Zola Frosto? They got some pretty cool shirts. Go check it out. Support all the fighters on Invicta FC8. I think that's really cool. I think we pretty much got everything out of the way. Sister, thank you again for entering this with me. It's always fun talking to you. Thank you to Jessica Aguilar, Emily Rady, Marq Piocos, I believe at Wombat Sports. Thanks to Jay setting this up, everybody in the chat room. We will be back on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on who we're going to have on there. And for those of you who can't wait, Friday I'll be joining Izzy on MMA Jam. That starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. Everybody have a good rest of the week, and we hope to see you all here next week. Take care.